Well, hello there, my lovelies, and welcome back to another behind the scenes video with your host, which is me, Visual Pony. For this recording, I have chosen the story I Always Thought They'd Be Cooler by Arisen. I've just, looked through it really quick because I have no idea who this author is. Let's just look at their page real quick. They have 18 stories online. That's definitely something that, that you should always keep in mind. Always check out the sites of those authors because, in my opinion, I can, of course, link to the specific story if the author requests it, which I've also had. But I always link to the page of the author so that you can actually discover all of their work. And maybe, leave them a comment and say them, hey, I really enjoyed your work and I'm going to check out the rest of that you've done. Okay, now let's get into this. Oh my word, guys, I did not expect that. I did really not expect that. But, hey, could have been way worse. Okay, so I always thought they'd be cooler by Arison. There's definitely an author. You know what? I will throw her a follow right now, her or him. Simply because I want to see what else they have in their lineup. Might be something else that's interesting. Sadly, they haven't been online in a while. But let's hope that they haven't given up on the Brony fandom. You know? A guy can hope, right? I always thought they'd be cooler. That mare's 5 consorts short of a harvest, she muttered to herself. Really? Granny Smith asked, poking her head out of the window. Well, I think so. I think in this particular case, I only need music for the story because there's nothing really happening that would warrant any sound effects, you know. I could put some ambiance in there, but okay. Now let's clean this up. For this time I can move the mic back over here so that you can hear me better again. As long as I don't need to use my right hand on the keyboard. But yeah, I have so much to do. Still have to record about 20 stories. I will not be able to do all of this today, but oh my word. Okie dokie. Let's... The thing is, I would really like to use the CS6 version of Adobe Audition, but they don't offer it anymore. And if I were to go and buy it on eBay or whatever, holy hell, that would be so expensive. I think they would charge like $1,000 or so by this point, because the licenses are so rare and no one really wants to part with them. And getting the subscription model just isn't worth it, you know. It just doesn't tickle my fancy, if you know what I mean. Because if you calculate that, how much that would be every year, then it would be, in the long run, especially if you're doing this like me for next year, we'll be in our 10th year, then these $1,000 would actually be cheaper than getting the subscription model. But a lot of people don't see that. They're like, oh yeah, this way I can get the software and it's better, and that way I can get regular updates and all that stuff. Yeah, no. You can get regular updates without having to pay a monthly fee. Especially, let's be real here. How many updates do you actually get effectively per year? And how many improvements does it actually give you? I bet not too many. And by the way, just so you don't misunderstand here, this is a version of Adobe Audition that has been activated with an official license key, so don't you even think that I pirated anything. But I would still like to use the newer version, you know, because of some functions that version has that this here doesn't. Also, the user interface in the newer version is quite a bit nicer. But yeah, like $23 a month. If you calculate that up to a year, let's just say $20 for the sake of me being tired. Then we are at $200, $240 a year. Calculate that up to 10 years. Then we are at 2,400 euros. Yeah, that's absolutely not worth it. That would be more than double than the $1,000 license for the CS6 version, which you can't even download anymore, as far as I've heard. I mean, I haven't been in my Adobe account for quite some time, but from what I've heard, you can't even download the CS6 version anymore. You are forced to use the CC version, the Creative Cloud version. Which is basically the CS6 version, just with a added thing for always online DRM, and I'm not supporting that. I never have. Always online DRM, in my opinion, kills your franchise. I mean, a lot of platforms and stuff will do that nowadays, and I do not support that. I just don't like it. I want to be able to use the software that I buy whenever, wherever I am. And if I decide to, take my laptop somewhere where I don't have internet, I still want to be able to do it. Still want to be able to play my games and all that and use my software. If I'm not able to do that simply because I need an internet connection, because I need to log into some account for some arbitrary verification that I did not pirate the software, then sorry, then I'm not gonna buy that software because it's just stupid. Yeah, it's I'm still of that generation also, like with games nowadays. I rarely ever buy games right at release, and I rarely ever pre-order, if ever. Um, and if I pre-order, then it must be something I really want and that I know will be playable at release. Because, let's face it, so many games nowadays are disappointing. And sometimes, or in a lot of cases, not even playable, you know, on release. If I think back to Diablo 3, which was one of the games I pre-ordered back in the day, oh my word. I like one of the pre-order bonuses you got was being able to load the game early, but you couldn't play, you could just download it early. And so I downloaded it, which was good because I had a very slow internet connection at the time. Like I think my maximum download speed was 200 kilobytes or something like that. And then I couldn't play it. I couldn't because I literally couldn't connect to the servers. The game would constantly tell me couldn't connect to Blizzard servers or Blizzard server error, blah blah blah. I think it was error 13 or something like that. Basically, it couldn't handle all of the connections and it didn't work, resulting in a lot of people already not giving the game a fair chance. I did, but it took almost a week for me to be able to actually play the game, and I tried every day. The problem was just, in this instance, for example, I felt cheated, really cheated, because I had paid for a pre-order, to be able to get into the game right away. And then me, just like so many others, couldn't play. And that was really annoying. If I had known that that would happen, I wouldn't have paid for the pre-order. I would have bought it later and saved myself the trouble. Or Cyberpunk 2077. With that game, I didn't hate it. I actually quite liked it. I streamed it on Twitch, like my entire first playthrough. And I didn't really have issues with it. I didn't have problems with it. Not like a lot of other people. This is an instance where my game, worked, but others didn't. However, even there, I had to say, this pure online digital release on PC, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have bought that. If I had been able to, I really would have wanted a disc version for PC to install it that way and to play it that way. Because you cannot imagine, guys, it was a pure horror show until I could get the game to run. Because it was released on my birthday. And I had the next day off. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to play Cyberpunk. And I did. But while everyone else, like everyone on Twitch, was already starting their Twitch streams for Cyberpunk, some people had actually been streaming for hours at that point because they got early access codes. Also, some things that I don't like. You know, this whole thing with, oh, they can stream it early and all that. Yeah, why? You know, that's no, just no. And took almost half an hour until I could actually play, because the game had to download some verification file, basically a release patch, to tell the game, yep, you are now activated, you can now be played. You can now let your owner, the dude who dished out for the premium package, which I could back in the day still afford, you can now let him play. You know, that is something I hated, something that I will never support. If I buy a game, then I should be able to play it as soon as it's out, you know, and I should have the option for a physical copy of the game, which right now, sadly, is only the case on console. On PC, try to get a physical PC game, I dare you. Especially one of the newer AAA releases. It's not that easy. Because a lot of game devs try to push the whole digital-only thing. Because digital games you cannot resell. At least not yet. At some point that might be a thing, but right now it isn't. And what I find very interesting, though, is, for example, if I look at the Nintendo Switch, loads of games are more expensive if I buy them as a download code. Download code than if I were to buy them as a physical release. Yeah, just take, for example, Pokemon Legends Arceus. of harmony would make much better nights, so. That's just so Applejack. Applejack's crying on the inside, Twilight. Okay, now I need a break. Because my throat is getting a bit sore. Okay, so let's select the audio file first. Always thought that'd be cooler. Where are the Cutie Mark Crusaders? There they are. And post it. And tweet it out. Anyhow, with this video is also over. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you see that I really give this my all. I really want you guys to enjoy these. And yeah, love you all. And I hope that this video finds you well in body and mind.